National Security Advisor John Bolton's new chief of staff has drawn scrutiny for his past work with the Center for Security Policy, a conservative think tank that has been accused of promoting anti-Muslim messages. Fred Fleets, who joined the National Security Council this week, was an outspoken opponent of the Iran nuclear deal when he worked as the senior vice president for policy at the think tank led by Frank Gaffney, whose views on Islam and theories about the Muslim Brotherhood's influence have sparked controversy. Fleets was one of more than a dozen authors of a 2015 report from the Center for Security Policy that called for, among other things, using Sharia adherent advocacy and practices as legal premises for deportation and stripping of American citizenship. This report also argued academic institutions that accept donations from Sharia adherent individuals or governments should be discouraged from promoting things like interfaith dialogue or Muslim Christian teachings, understanding, because the effort amounts to promoting Sharia or civilian jihadist agendas. In an interview with Breitbart News last year, Fleets also blamed the failure to assimilate British Muslims in the UK for a terrorist attack in London. Fleets did not respond to a CNN request for comment. Stephen Elliott, a former George W. Bush administration official who worked with Fleets at the State Department, calls Fleets a middle-of-the-road conservative who has tough positions on Iran, North Korea, and terrorism. He is not out of the mainstream. He was tough on Iran, but so was the Bush administration, Elliott said. Taking hardline positions on the issue of the day doesn't make him a neo-Nazi or a wingnut, as people have called him, which is outrageous. Fleets' policy position at the State Department and since then have focused on radical Islam, not all Islam. Elliott said he has written books, 4 books, countless articles, and had many TV appearances. Maybe you can argue he has been too tough, but he makes a clear distinction between radical Islam and mainstream Islam. The former Bush administration official said, I know it is easy to pick out something that sounds ominous and scary, but it is unfair to tar him with this report when there is no lack of information on what he has said and what he has written. Fleets' ties to Gaffney and the Center for Security Policy have raised concerns among a number of advocacy groups, including the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League. The Southern Poverty Law Center is an Alabama-based nonprofit activist group that tracks civil rights and hate crimes and defines a hate group as an organization with beliefs or practices that attack or malign an entire class of people, typically for their immutable characteristics. The group slammed Bolton's decision to hire Fleets this week. The CSP is known for propagating wild conspiracy theories that have no basis in fact, but do stroke a climate of fear and violence against American Muslims, the Southern Poverty Law Center said in a statement on Wednesday. Fleets will now be in a position to do serious harm to our national security as he pushes an extremely anti-Muslim agenda. A senior administration official dismissed the focus on Fleets' past publications as a baseless attack and blamed the Southern Poverty Law Center and other groups for waging a vengeful smear campaign for Fleets' past criticisms of the group, which has been known to attack prominent conservative thought leaders and label them bigots. Gaffney, who leads the Center for Security Policy, has earned a reputation as a conspiracy theorist for making false claims about Islam, among other things, including his accusation that the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated the ranks of the Conservative Political Action Committee, a large annual gathering of conservatives. Gaffney was banned from speaking at the event in 2011. The criticisms that I've seen, at least, are very similar. Gaffney told CNN, they are the kinds of things that one has come to expect from what I believe is a discredited instrument or political warfare. Gaffney added, referring to the Southern Poverty Law Center, I think Fred has certainly been exposed to these arguments, has been a contributor to some of the work that we've done over the years, he said. Fleets' relationship with Bolton stretches back more than a decade. The former CIA analyst served as Bolton's chief of staff in the Bush administration and went on to work as a senior staffer on the House Intelligence Committee in 2006. Bolton served as Bush's ambassador to the United Nations. All right, that's enough of that article. So Bolton hired someone that was very much a fixture within his political career, and a number of us, including myself, have expressed our distaste toward his views. But um, Fleets is a really interesting character in terms of saying that a terrorist attack could have been prevented if the Muslim group in a country had have assimilated, all kind of little crazy thought patterns. And it feels so astonishing that when someone says something which is entirely based on going after a group for the fact that it exists, we're not talking about radical Islam. He's saying Islam in general because Islamic individuals did not assimilate in Britain. That's why you had that terrorist attack over there, which is absolutely insane. But his defenders, at least the one that was in this article, tried to make the argument that the Southern Poverty Law Center was just picking on him. Let me say hello to Elliot. Um, I find it quite astonishing that you go from saying he smears all of these Muslims in this other country, but then now you're saying that he's getting smeared for smearing. I swear. And then also think to yourself this: if someone's going to make a comment that is anti an entire group of religion, and you have a group that advocates for people within any group, whether it's an ethnic group or a religious group, being seen as having variations and not all being the exact same way, why would they want you as part of the national security team? Why would they want you, a person who, as far as they can tell from what they've seen you write, um, has dedicated his time or their time to trying to, make accusations based entirely off the fact that someone is a religion? So it'll be a very interesting thing to see how this goes out. I kind of am convinced that one of the self-sabotaging things about a lot of these Trump appointments and people that are appointed by those that Trump is affiliated with is that when they take up the news more than him, he starts to become a little less willing to have them stick around. This has been the case with many of his of the people he's gotten rid of, whether it was Scaramucci or Spicer. There is a running theme of that happening. So maybe by the media talking about this person over and over again, they might propel that to happen quicker. And based off of what I just read about his views, one can only hope that's the case. I've tried to assail the media a couple of times for having establishment bias, but if they can keep this guy in the news and keep reminding people that this is your national security advisor's chief of staff, this guy that has all these anti um, Islam statements or sentiments, and is noted for having those views. It's not like he gets hired and then, oh, we dig up something from 40 years ago. No, these are all things that were public information. So I really hope that we can get an end to this, end it as soon as it starts effectively. And given the record of people, matches the same level of bigotry and whatnot. So thank you for watching.